Okay, so I just finished The Amazing Grace and Higher Power, and I'm coming back in. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, this is the interruptions and stressors. I am feeling I had, a bit of a slowdown with this in terms of my own like process with doing my own parinama practice, and now I'm feeling like resurgence of like really wanting to move closer to the 12th chapter when we start really working on the reverse order of this by um like actually making stuff. So okay, so here we are, we're page 256, the beginning of the interruptions and stressors. And so I just finished reading through Amazing Grace and Higher Power. That's a good one to, if you haven't watched that, is to go back to that, which is the one right before this, found if you click into the lives on the Parinoma Method homepage. So interruptions and stressors for the seventh hub. Like this is the hub where we develop a relationship with our thoughts, belief systems, self-knowledge, knowledge of the larger world and the cosmos. The awakening of intellectual curiosity is as the awakening of intellectual curiosity in a teenager can create strain within a family, especially if parents want their children to adhere to specific belief systems due to the mistaken notion that their beliefs are correct for everyone. Attempting to save children from making so-called mistakes is well-intentioned but misguided, often leading to a child's fear, guilt, shame, grief, or denial about feeling like they're in opposition to their family. That contains probably, yes, this so-called in that is key. Because I mean, there are some mistakes you want to keep your kids from making. Um, Parents' memories of their own mistakes get erased or repurposed as cautionary tales. There are many complex justifications that all share the same sentiment. Don't make the same mistakes I made. Children often need to learn by trial and error to understand things for themselves, just like their parents did. The apex of this hub is our personal connection to our higher power, which can get severely interrupted when God is introduced as an angry man who sees our very being as consumed with the cancer of sin. When he was in his 70s, my father, who had never been a religious man, told me a story about drawing a picture of God for school when he was about 7 or 8 years old. He had filled his paper with thoughts of every color in the crayon box, and when he joyfully showed his teacher, he was punished severely. He recalled the reprimand from almost 7 decades earlier, as he told me. It was confusing. I was ashamed. I felt a genuine connection to God, and in that moment, it felt cut off. So, as an adult, it was a profound moment for me to hear my father, whom I'd never seen attend church and had never heard speak of faith, explain to me how he experienced God as being in everything. That's interesting. It's kind of surprising to find that. It didn't, yeah. What was the thing? So I've been watching. So in the next part, I'm actually probably going to do a separate section for the standards of purity and perfectionism and spiritual abuse. But the here, when we're just, this is like the interruption and stressors introduction. And it's funny, I've been watching the show Seventh Heaven. It's like a 90s show about a pastor, his wife, and their like millions of kids. I think it's like they have 7 kids. It starts out that they have 5, and I think like their parents make 7, and then they wind up having twins. But I'm like, I'm watching the show and it's really pleasant. It's this like really pleasant notion of family. It's like there's drama, but it's like it's always really stabilized by this kind of moral compass. And, and I'm watching it and I'm realizing like it's described as wholesome. I'm watching it and I'm realizing that the reason the family works so well is all the children reflect the parents back to them. Like all the children are like really like they're just really similar to the parents in terms of like their worldviews and their behavior. There's no room for the children to really, they're all kind of like wholesome middle class kids. Like there's no expression of anything that's alternative to the reality that the parents have. And it's really copacetic. Like the family life, it's really nice. It paints this fantastic picture of what, sort of like life can be like. I mean, there's also this like underlying undercurrent of the show, which is that the father, the actor who plays the father, the pastor, wound up being a pedophile. I mean, but which is like probably some kind of, allegory here or whatever. It's some kind of embedded thing here, which is about repression. That has nothing to do with the show, but and I don't want to laugh because it's not really funny, like that he, that there were children that he harmed. But the point being that it's like there's this really natural thing about growing up, which is that you're experimenting with who you are as a person and like the unique expression of who you are, and having the latitude to explore that, having the latitude to push back and still be loved if it and it like it hurting, of course, but like that. And so there's this thing, I guess that like watching that show, I mean, maybe you've probably never seen it. It's pretty old. It's like 25 years old. Um, but it's like paint, but just, and this is getting into the interruptions here, which is that like they all live within the standards that their parents hold, like with very minimal, if any, pushing back on it. There's nobody that's like gay. There's nobody that's like, I don't know. There's always people outside their family that have the problems. Kids are never like struggling with the fact they don't feel like they can be themselves because they're all like their parents, you know? And it's a really nice picture. And I bring this up really, I think now that I think about it, I bring this up because it's like to understand why that's so appealing, like the notion of like this like well-behaved family. But the thing is like there's just this inconvenience of authenticity, which is that it grows like natural things. It is what it is, and it doesn't it's like a wherever it's planted, it grows as itself, and this thing of like trying to make something homogenous with everything that surrounds it, it's you know it's a thing. So anyhow, it's interesting, that thing about my dad, surprising. It's surprising to me because I don't think there's anything else that's personal in here. So I like that. I like that that's in there. I like that story. I had a really strained relationship with my father who's now deceased, but that was a really, like, I remember that as being a really nice moment of connection. I remember we were connecting as he was reading some of the books that I was recommending that were part of my own path of exploration, and that he was going to the library and checking the books out. It's very sweet. But yeah, okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side with standards of purity and perfectionism and spiritual abuse. Light work. But look, I think one of the things that's really important here, I'll just say in closing, is that, and it's, is exemplified in the last 2 sections, is like really being able to maintain the perspective of not just like damning something and saying it's just bad. It's understanding why it's also good, and understanding um like coming from an interest in understanding something versus just condemning it for the harm it causes, versus looking to the origin of it its in the goodness that's provided and is being defended, and becomes what often becomes misguided, I'd say, as far as the level of defense actually counteracting the core beliefs, but I think it's, for me, it's to consider the original intent, supports coming to a place that has a greater chance for like ascension, reconciliation. But anyway, thank you for watching. I do love you. And as always, any comments, interactions appreciated. And I'll see you next time. Bye.